The export of America's jobs to cheap overseas labor markets may be the most important piece of the war on the middle class. Now, as the election approaches, some congressmen may be paying the price for their votes to send middle-class American jobs to other countries. Lisa Sylvester reports.
Tom Reynolds said yes to CAFTA.
It's not right when Congress passes trade bills that send our jobs overseas.
My opponents supported the trade agreements.
They are the trade races, congressional seats that could swing on trade agreements and job protection. In Indiana, Joe Donnelly says he wants to bring fair back into the free trade agreements.
There's a real feeling out here that the lobbyists have taken over, the big companies have taken over.
Newcomer candidates are tapping into long-simmering middle-class resentments, and it's paying off.
There's increasingly, the high-tech workers in the Northwest and in North Carolina and elsewhere that are feeling really anxious about the global economy and trade agreements that kind of create incentives for companies to move offshore.
North Carolina incumbent Robin Hayes is in a dead heat in his district. Hayes provided a key swing yes vote on the Central American Free Trade Agreement. His challenger, Larry Kissel, is a former textile worker. Representative Charlie Taylor, who abstained from the CAFTA vote, also is in trouble. His opponent has a commanding lead in the polls. In New York, Tom Reynolds, who has been caught in the Foley Page scandal, has been hit hard for his record on trade. He's up against small business owner Jack Davis, who is running on an almost exclusive anti-trade agreement platform.
Republican incumbents who have been very strong supporters of free trade policy and free trade agreements are actually now behind in their races.
Voters worried about jobs and their slipping standard of living are finding their voice and holding elected leaders accountable.
And the trade issue resonates with many voters, from union members to fiscal conservatives, who are concerned about a ballooning trade deficit that stands at $790 billion and is on track to set a fifth consecutive annual record. Lou?
It's amazing. Part of certainly the war on the middle class is corporate support for illegal immigration, free trade, the idea that we can tolerate failing public schools. The list goes on. Thank you very much, Lisa. It'll be interesting to see what happens on Election Day in so many ways. Thank you. Lisa Sylvester. Up next, the Republican Party's fear factor in the upcoming campaign elections.